If you're going through menopause, perimenopause, or you just can't seem to find comfort in your body anymore, then it's time to try Hormone Harmony. Created by Happy Mammoth, this science backed solution has become a phenomenon. With adaptogens to help your body adapt to hormonal changes, Hormone Harmony tackles hot flashes and night sweats, racing thoughts, low moods, poor sleep, occasional bloating and gas, no desire to be in bed next to someone, if you know what I mean, and other things. Plus, with over 17,000 reviews mentioning feeling like myself again, it's a game changer. Get 15% off your first order at happymammoth.com with code AFFIRMATIONS. Don't let menopause or hormonal changes hold you back. Try Hormone Harmony today. Let's talk about progress. Here at AFBG, we're all about embracing progress, big or small. We celebrate those little victories because they are just as important, especially on our journey to financial well being. Like setting aside savings each month, but still leaving room for that perfume you've been dying to have. Because here, we believe in treating ourselves, okay? And Chime is here to make that journey even smoother. My favorite feature Chime offers is Spot Me. It's fee-free overdraft up to $200, and you even get paid up to 2 days earlier with direct deposit. And let me tell y'all, it's like Christmas when that check hits early, baby. So say goodbye to those stressful overdraft experiences and hello to a financial institution that truly cares about your well-being. With Chime, you'll join millions of members working towards financial progress. Plus, there are no monthly fees or maintenance fees, and you get access to over 60,000 fee-free ATMs nationwide. Y'all, it's time to take more control of your finances and say goodbye to monthly fees. Open your Chime account in minutes at chime.com/affirmations. That's chime.com/affirmations. Chime feels like progress. You are listening to Summer Stories, celebrating our narratives and affirmations for Black Girls series. We have a full lineup of amazing women who will be sharing their stories in their own words. Black girls aren't a monolith. We come in different shapes, sizes, colors, personalities, and have different interests, and that has to be celebrated. So, grab your favorite drinkity drink, a notepad, find a cozy spot, and let's dive in.
What is going on, beautiful people? You are listening to the Affirmations for Black Girls podcast, where we focus on personal growth and cultivating a healthy relationship with ourselves.
Your things are as powerful.
Today, I am your guest host, Yasmyne, your favorite fashion girly, R&B music lover, and just like Tyra, I am also a mental health enthusiast, coming to you all with a new episode. By the title of today's episode, we are going to be diving into the realm of sisterhood and having genuine relationships in your 20s and beyond. I have personally gone through the ups and downs of friendships for several years, and I've recently now come into a place in my life where I allow who I want to have relationships with. Before we go any further, let's get into the affirmation of the week. This week's affirmation is, I cultivate meaningful relationships that build community. Y'all, it's a good one. Go ahead and say it with me. I cultivate meaningful relationships that build community. 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 Say it again one last time with me, y'all. I cultivate meaningful relationships that build community. When we hear on social media and the discussion of making friends as an adult, there's a lot of controversy surrounding it. I myself have seen the most talked about statements is everybody's all clicked up, or what's the proper way to make friends as an adult? And to be honest, y'all, the realest answer I can tell you is it takes effort to make and maintain genuine relationships. That's why I say sisterhood is not linear when it comes to having long lasting relationships. The reason why I say that is because everyone you meet going out to events, to parties, gatherings, that person or those people you meet at that time, y'all gonna hit it off, exchange social medias or numbers, and then boom, you don't really hear from them anymore. I know, I know, it sucks because it's happened to me before. So, to give you some background about me, y'all, I am from the best states. Everyone loves to visit. All y'all want to live here. Y'all want to visit here and turn up. It's Texas, y'all. Austin, Texas, to be exact. I am a born and raised Texan, but I left to attend school in Atlanta and graduated from Clark Atlanta University, the best university. Okay? When I moved back home after undergrad, y'all, I realized Austin was not the same place I grew up as a kid. Lots of my friends moved away or were still in Atlanta. So I decided to begin my journey to finding new friends in my hometown. In the beginning, y'all, it was rough. Okay, like I did meet amazing people. Shout out to my girls. Y'all know who y'all are. But there were some not so good times meeting new people. Some people wanted friends for a status. Some always wanted to talk about dating. And others, we just didn't click. It was an uphill battle for the first few years coming back home to a familiar place, feeling like a fish out of water, y'all, because I left home as a teenager and returned back as a young adult. There was a mix of emotions of growing pains, imposter syndrome, due to the fact I wasn't fully into my career at the time, and my peers I'm closest to weren't there. And not having that communal space to just express my feelings I desperately searching for was connections. I ended up relying on trying to foster new connections to obtain that intimacy within my friendships I've had when I met someone I instantly clicked with. I felt like I needed to be overly extroverted and meeting new people, but then I wasn't always met with the same energy. Once the pandemic hit, y'all, and y'all know, being at home for those months, I was a roller coaster of emotions because I would tell my therapist at the time, why hasn't anybody called me? If they don't reach out, then I'm not reaching out. And my therapist would tell me, Yasmyne, why do you have unrealistic expectations of your friends? We are in the middle of the pandemic and you have expectations of your friendships to show for you, and you're not realizing everyone is in isolation and are just trying to survive right now. I had to stop myself, y'all, because one, my therapist gathered me by my edges. But I realized in that moment, I've put a lot of pressure on my friends when I wasn't holding my weight in those relationships. I was holding on and still dealing with friendship guilt where I have a certain level of expectations from my friendships. And if they don't meet those expectations, I hold some resentment against them. And that's not fair, y'all. I was comparing my friendships to others and wondering why my relationships didn't look like the ones I've seen on social media and on TV. I was hoping and wishing that I have those big friend groups. Y'all know those big friend group trips, those 10 plus girl trips and outings, because I was yearning for community. I did have some of those group trips, y'all. So when I did, I realized that, wow, Yasmyne, this can happen for you. This is not fake. This is reality, your reality. And I cherish those moments because it wasn't until I had an honest conversation with one of my friends about how our friendship blossomed outside of college. We were in stages in our lives where it's moving fast paced, but we try to make the effort to connect on the phone when we can. If she travels to Texas or I travel to Atlanta, we make a point to connect with each other. It made me realize that I can create safe spaces to grow within our friendships at our own pace, yet leave room for continual growth where we allow ourselves to stay connected as much as we can, whether it is a phone call every now and then, check in texts, and girl time when we're in person. This is something I'm still navigating to this day. And it's been a challenge because what I can say from then until now is everyone is just trying to make it one day at a time. So give them the space. If they haven't reached out, it's because life be lifing, y'all. It's one of those lessons I've learned along the way, which brings me to another lesson I've learned in my 20s, finding meaningful relationships, is that every woman you meet for the first time will not always become your bestie or sister for life. I know, y'all. It's another big conversation topic. It's how do we delegate our friendship, whether new or old, and how everybody cannot be your friend, okay? As your new honest bestie for the week, I had to learn this my entire life. And I ignored it for a very long time because what my mom would tell me, I would just think, she's bluffing. She don't mean that. And then later, when that person I thought was supposed to be my friend ended up not being my friend anymore. Like I said earlier, when I moved back home from Atlanta, y'all, I researched all the black groups in Austin. And at that time, y'all, it was very sparse. It's not like that anymore. Okay? For those who are listening about being a black woman in Austin, trust me, it has gotten a lot better. I happen to have connected with someone through a friend of mine who founded a group for black women in their 20s in Austin. And I went to their meetups. And it was the first time in a new space where I felt nervous, y'all. But this is what I wanted: friendship. I made a couple connections from there after the first meetup. I also used my Greek network. Shout out to my sorors of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated to connect with younger Greeks in Austin. Reconnecting with old high school classmates who still lived in the area, and even doing the popular trend now of going places solo just to get out there, y'all, because I was tired of missing out on fun moments because I wanted someone there. I became a solo traveler by attending fashion shows, concerts, industry mixers and day parties just to meet new people, get out of the house, and make new memories that I can cherish. It was scary, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. But every time I would attend somewhere solo, I would connect with at least 1 to 2 new people. And that brightened my day, y'all. Allowing myself to attend many different spaces on my own forced me to break out of my shell and just start up some conversations. Usually, I would say hi, or if there was a table to sit, I would take the opportunity to ask what their name is and just have some surface level conversations. That is kind of a lost art in creating new relationships because we get caught up in our heads about what to say and how to approach somebody. Just start with a basic hello or give them a compliment, y'all. It's perfect to spark up conversations. I know. This has worked for me because I didn't psych myself out of a potential new relationship, but using my fun and warm personality, my facial expressions that never miss, and me cracking jokes gives people that door to want to get to know me. While I had made some great connections, or what I thought were great connections, but I realized everyone I met wasn't meant to be my friend. So, okay, y'all, story time. I had a time where I had clicked with this girl at an event, and we did hang out. We hung out a couple of times, but every time we hung out, it was always about, have you been dating lately? Have you met any guys? What has dating been like for you? And I thought to myself, I can't be friends with someone where the majority of our conversations are about guys and dating. Now, there was an age gap in our dynamic at the time because I was 22 and she was about 28, 29, which it didn't bother me. But as I reflect on those conversations, we were just in different phases in our lives where our priorities wasn't the same. It just didn't mesh. And that's okay. I was annoyed at the time, don't get me wrong. And eventually, our quick budding friendship dwindled because I desired friendships where we can discuss more than just dating. It can be our careers or just where we are at in life. And that's what I wanted. So, recovering from failed new relationships crushed me deeply, y'all, because I hold on to relationships for dear life, but I had to allow those connections to develop over time and effort. And knowing what I know now from a 27-year-old point of view, what I wanted from my relationships has evolved. But being able to pick and choose who I wanted to be friends with, I've gotten a lot better at.
So, picture this. You're lounging on somebody's beach, enjoying the sun on your skin, and suddenly it hits you. Why not use this summer to make some progress in your financial future? Hey y'all, it's Tyra coming at you from sunny Los Angeles, where summer is pretty much in full swing. From day parties to food truck festivals, new seasonal routines can accidentally change up your spending habits and make building credit a lot more stressful. With Chime's Credit Builder Visa credit card, turn every summer purchase into a step towards a stronger credit score. With each responsible swipe, regular on-time payments, and no annual fees or interest, you'll join millions of members working towards financial progress this season. Y'all know my favorite Chime feature is Spot Me. It's fee-free overdraft up to $200 $5 gives me a little extra peace of mind wherever Visa credit cards are accepted. And whether I'm beach hopping or spontaneous road tripping, I can feel secure knowing that Chime provides access to over 60,000 fee-free ATMs nationwide. With Chime's secure credit card, you can improve your credit scores all summer long. Get started today at chime.com/affirmations. That's chime.com/affirmations. Chime feels like progress. The Chime Credit Builder Visa Credit Card is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal and OTC advance fees may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details. Growing up, Black voices in media, though hard to come by, were my compass. Here at AFBG, Black representation is the very heartbeat of what we do. Representation isn't just about visibility, it's about carving out a space where Black stories can thrive and resonate. From pioneers like Oprah Winfrey breaking barriers on TV to amazing women like Viola Davis, Octavia Spencer, and Taraji P. Henson, who showed me that Black girls can command the screen. These Black faces and voices have been a guiding light in my life, not only by entertaining me, but also educating me and empowering me. And now, NPR brings you the next generation of influential Black voices in their new collection, Black Stories, Black Truths. Every episode is a living account about what it means to be Black today, each told from a unique Black perspective that is as nuanced as the Black experience itself. From Bobby Shmurda to The Wire, Michelle Obama to reparations, there's no limit to the range of Black stories, Black truths. I recently listened to the episode titled For Black Men, Barriers to Mental Health Care Can Be Complex, and I love how the host seemed to create a safe space for discussing these complex barriers Black men face when accessing mental health care. It was very refreshing to hear the classic NPR vibe, but with a soulful twist. Black perspectives haven't always been centered in America's story, but now they are the story because stories should never be about us without us. Listen now to Black Stories, Black Truths from NPR, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, AFBG family, let's talk mental health for a second. Do you ever feel like you're juggling a million things and still can't quite keep it together? I don't know if you guys know this, but women, especially Black women, are often overlooked when it comes to getting ADHD diagnosis. So many women struggle their entire lives without realizing, going undiagnosed more often than men. Just because ADHD may look a bit different for you doesn't mean you can't take control. If you have ADHD or suspect that you do, it's time to check out Done. Done is an ADHD clinic for the modern world, offering virtual and in-person appointments. Their medical team has over 30 years of experience with ADHD in particular, helping over 40% of Done patients see improvements within the first month. And the best part is, Done is affordable, sometimes even cheaper than most insurance copays. Which is crazy because my copay at the doctor is normally around $15. Unlock your path to better focus with Done. Take a free 1-minute assessment and book an appointment with a licensed ADHD clinician as soon as the next day. Get continuous care, insurance coverage, 24/7 care team support, and pharmacy copays as low as $0. And right now, y'all, Done is offering my listeners 15% off your initial consultation at donefirst.com/affirmations. That's donefirst.com/affirmations to get 15% off. Or you can just click the link down in the show notes. Done. Turn ADHD into a strength.
Being selective in who I decide I want to build meaningful relationships with taught me that they're created organically, not instant. Another get to know me fact, y'all, is that I'm an only child. And yes, I treat all of my friends like a biological sibling because I hold relationships near and dear to my heart. It has also been somewhat of a downfall because I want everybody to be my friend when everyone shouldn't have the privilege of being deemed a quote unquote friend. Whom I deemed a quote unquote friend is someone I'm able to be vulnerable with, allowing myself to make mistakes, but holding myself accountable and holding me accountable and extending grace and vice versa. In this stage in my life, y'all, I have gone through demoting friends, losing friends, and rebuilding friendships where we just didn't talk for some time, but we are actively working on it now. The sister circle I have now in my life has seen me at my personal rock bottom, cheering me on through personal obstacles, and I do the same for them. This group of women, most of them, I have met during my time back home in Austin, with the exception of friends that I've had in college and prior. I know we see the going trend of having day one friends you've grown up with since before 18, but it made me appreciate the day two friends who came later in life in my adult years, because I can be open to new relationships, and the longevity of us knowing one another doesn't dictate how they've shown up for me and created a safe space for me, and I do the same. It's one of my current topics I discuss in therapy frequently with my therapist, because she calls out that I desire reciprocal relationships in my life, but I do have to evaluate how do I present myself as a friend to others in the relationships with you have right now in your life. What are you doing to strengthen the relationships that matter the most and the relationships that you have been questioning? Consider right now you all are on a pause. Now, I know. What are you saying right now, Yasmyne? What is a friendship pause? Yes. Let me break it down. My therapist described it as y'all are not actively working on your friendship, so you're taking a step back and focusing on the friendship you want to put the effort in. Y'all, when she told me that, I was resistant because I felt like our friendship is over, the friendship is done, it's null and void. But when I really sat down and did some own self reflection, I realized that, you know what? I do need to take a step back on a couple relationships and focus on the ones that matter to me more. If the opportunity ever presented itself where the other person asked me, hey, what happened to our friendship? How did we get here? I can ask myself, is this a friendship I want to continue having or not? I say this because I do have another story time, y'all, where I was in a crossroads with one of my friendships for quite some time, because we were in different phases in life where I had been figuring my life post grad, and my friend was figuring out life as well, but was also in a serious relationship at the time. I had expressed to my therapist that when I first was feeling those feelings of losing her, our relationship was in an impasse and didn't know what to do from there. We both sat down and kind of said to each other, I don't know what's going on, girl, but I feel like our relationship is at a standstill. We had a long talk and tried to work through some of those feelings that we touched on. And it was bumpy, y'all. Not gonna lie. And honestly, I realized I was getting too overly invested into her life, and I didn't show up as the greatest friend as I needed to be. And it wasn't until something happened where I had to take a step back from her. And at the time, y'all, I felt defeated, but a little bit relieved, because once my therapist told me to take a pause from it, I did. I couldn't keep pouring into our relationship where I'm doing the heavy load and it wasn't being reciprocated. I had a lot of anxiety from our relationship because I wanted this friendship to work and she was one of my closest friends, but I needed some time away from her. And since then, we have talked, but only on our birthdays since they're so close together. But I feel that I miss her right now, but right now we're just on a break from each other. This made me look at relationships from a completely different lens, y'all. I began pouring into friends who I wanted to actively work on growing closer in our relationships. And I did just that, y'all. It wasn't until late last year when I visited my friends in Atlanta, I was able to connect with most of my friends from college, organizations that we joined together, and just enjoy each other's company. It made me sit back and look at them like, this is what I've been praying about. Like, it's happening to me. I thanked my friends for coming out and spending time with me because I don't visit Atlanta often, but once a year. And everybody knows if you're an HBCU alum, it's homecoming, y'all. But even then, they still tell me, Yasmyne, you know we love you, girl. And you know it's always a pleasure just seeing you when you're in town. It warms my heart that it took a few years in a pandemic to realize that I'm happy about that. I have options in deciding if that relationship is worth investing into and if that person is open and willing to reciprocate that. That alone reaffirmed to me that this journey in finding sisterhood really isn't linear and it's not supposed to be. But once you find those people or that one person to come into your life, fulfilling those needs you've been yearning for, that's what matters. What I've spent my energy on trying to keep all of the people in my life I deemed a friend close to me didn't do anything but stress me out, and that's not healthy. What I can control is how do I show up as the person I want people to see me as while remaining true and authentic to who Yasmyne is, and they will come. Having the friends I've nurtured over the years from K through 12, college, and being an adult, while still keeping myself open to new relationships, but not forcing them to be immediate friends, but just organic, hanging out, calling each other, and checking in when we can, that's what makes them last. Finding sisterhood in your 20s is what we see on television through our mothers, aunties, older sisters, female cousins, and her friend groups. It's what we desire as Black women, a sense of community, of women, where we can be our unfiltered, raw, and authentic selves with no judgment and room for grace and growth. I'm coming into the space of having those chosen women I love dearly and even bringing in new women who've come into my life that I'm eager to see where our journey together continues. All right, y'all. We are getting into the fun segment of the day. Before we close out, let's get into my recommendations of the day. All of my recommendations from today's episode will be linked in the episode show's notes. Like I told y'all before, I am an R&B lover, and I wanted to give you all a peek into my world of who I'm listening to right now. The first listen I want to drop on you all is Duran Bernard's newest project, En Route, the EP. Y'all, that EP exudes 70s soul, funk, disco, dance, being brought into 2024. If you've never heard of him, y'all, you're going to enjoy him. And once you do, please go ahead and listen to Wanderlust and my personal favorite, his self-titled Duran. Another music project that I'm loving right now is Devin Morrison's Bussin' album. Y'all, this album is such a beautiful ode to 90s music, but he just does it so well. My favorite tracks are It's Time, the opening track, and The Call. They are the perfect sunny weather music you can play at any time. Think of A. Marie, Why Don't We Fall in Love? Those tracks give just that. Now, I do want to switch it over and give you all a book recommendation before I go, and it's called Hold You Down by Tracy Brown. It is such a good book about two sisters who are finding themselves in a world following the death of their mother, who wasn't really a great parental figure in their lives. And they just kind of go through the many lessons of love, loss, growth, and their evolving relationship as sisters. It is such a great read, y'all. I'm excited to finish it, and I think you guys will all enjoy it. All right, y'all. That's all I have for you this week. I had such fun talking to you all on Affirmations for Black Girls. This was such an out-of-body experience for me. I hope you have left with something you can take with you and apply it in your own way. Thank you, Tyra, for this opportunity. I'm grateful for being on this platform and sharing a part of my journey here on this podcast. Thank you guys, and until next time.
And that is all we have for you today, AFBG family. We hope this Summer Stories episode left you feeling inspired. Take a peek at the show notes to discover more about our phenomenal guest host. And if you loved what you heard, do not forget to rate, review, and connect with us on Instagram at Affirmations for Black Girls, on YouTube at Affirmations for Black Girls, and by signing up for our newsletter. There are so many exciting things awaiting you guys, and do not forget to join us again next week for another episode of the Summer Stories segment. This is Affirmations for Black Girls.